But with Don, it would sound pathetic, like I was showing off how well I was doing without him. I was, perhaps, a bit too worried about sounding pathetic around Don. He probably thought I was rude instead. Where's Tommy? He's on the youth trip to Chicago this week, remember? Suddenly, I was fiercely glad that I was the mother, or the primary parent, as the judge called me during the divorce hearing, because I didn't have to be reminded of something so important to my son that he bit his fingernails down to the quick in anticipation. And I didn't want to have his absence be the default in my life. Here I was feeling liberated and relaxed, except when I was worrying Tommy would fall off the Sears Tower, because I had a kidless week. Don wouldn't ever know how the pain of missing Tommy made the pleasure sharper. Something about the maternal bond makes me understand masochism. The pain makes me know how much I love him. Doesn't work that way with husbands, especially ex-husbands. The pain just reminded me of what a fool I was to go on loving. After another exchange like that, I got impatient. Truth is, I was a bit bored. If we were going to risk communicating, no risk for him maybe, but I'd pay for it with a sleepless night, I wanted more action and adventure than this tortured small talk offered. That was maybe why that seduce him voice kept singing. During those months, I was trying to win Don back. I'd become something of a crisis junkie. Back then, there was some primal energy running through me when I would scream, "But I love you, and Tommy loves you. How can you give us up?" And he would scream back that he was dying and only she could save him. It was a dangerous sort of fun, like Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor ripping at each other on the screen, almost sexual. But this exchange was tedious and not at all sexual. I knew I was supposed to probe until he grudgingly spilled the secret he wanted to spill. But now I didn't want to bother. Good thing we weren't still married, or he'd have to find another dance partner. Finally, when he was silent, all small talk exhausted, secrets still unspilled, I felt a crawling need for escape. That's it? Well, I rose. Thanks for coming by. Meggie, wait. Uh-huh. The Sphinx speaks. I perched my newly firm hip on the arm of the couch. Yeah, I know, it's not fair. For years, Don kept after me to lose weight. Then he left, and the prospect of being single and 20 pounds overweight galvanized me. This was all part of my brave new self, unattached and unafraid, not to mention unflabby. This time, I didn't interpret his silence for him. I didn't say, "Are you worried about business? Is Wanda betraying you with some bouncer at her favorite bar?" I didn't say anything at all. All of a sudden, he said, "I just feel so bad about you. The last few years, how you got hurt. I think about it all the time." Don, come on. Even I don't think about it all the time. He gave me a rebuking look. Here I had spent decades trying to get him to talk about his feelings, and now that he was doing it, I was dismissing them. Oops, there I go, interpreting him again. "I guess what I'm saying is I feel..." He sorted through a few alternative emotions, discarding them one after another. No, I'm not interpreting here, really. They were practically written on his face. Guilty? Nah. Ashamed? Nah. I just feel bad about it. Don made an agonized face. I was reminded, no wonder he divorced me, the repository of such memories, of that old hotel in Dublin when he was straining on the rickety toilet and it crashed, depositing him in a puddle on the floor. Same agony. "I wish I hadn't hurt you, but you know how I felt about Wanda." Yeah, I knew how he felt about Wanda. In fact, the best thing about his leaving was I didn't have to hear him anymore counting all the ways he loved her. And I couldn't give it up, you know. It felt like my last chance at happiness. Past tense. I felt. It felt. I couldn't. Where'd that come from? Was all his lust/love for her in the past? Last I heard, all the gushy stuff was in the present tense.